Every year, natural disasters affect nearly 200 million people, kill another 99,000, and cost more than $162 billion a year to respond to emergencies caused by natural disasters. This staggering impact is just the beginning of their far-reaching impact. Severe injuries, displacement, family loss, and even the effects of PTSD are just some of the traumatic effects that are felt long after a disaster. While every state in the Union is threatened by natural disasters, only about half of U.S. adults are prepared. Many have no plan, or even enough food or water to get their families through for days. When utilities shut down and grocery store shelves are empty, they have no choice but to panic. While you can't avoid disaster, you can prepare for it. Because in dire situations where first responders might not be able to reach you, you can be prepared so that you don't need emergency assistance while allowing first responders to deal with those situations when needed. Being prepared can also reduce the impact of emergencies on your life and make you more equipped to deal with the chaos of the unknown, not to mention avoiding danger altogether. This guide will show you how to prepare for a natural disaster, what to do when it strikes, and what to do when it's over, because disasters happen fast, which means you need to be prepared and act quickly. Action. Why disaster preparedness matters. Why prepare for disaster? There are many reasons to prepare for an emergency, but some of the most important are: services and utilities may be interrupted immediately following an emergency. If you are not prepared, you may not have access to water, cooling, or communications to stay informed. Emergency responders may not be able to reach you, which means you may be left alone for hours to days. Even if you can get away during or after an emergency, getting what you need can be difficult. Grocery stores are sold out, and when those shelves are empty, it can take a while to restock. In some emergencies, you have time. You might have 2 to 3 days to prepare before a hurricane hits, but when you're involved in a terrorist attack or flash flood, you don't have much time to correct things. Depending on the situation, it can become dangerous immediately after a disaster. Small earthquakes can happen at any time, and there can be robberies in the streets. Stay indoors as much as possible to avoid danger. It is even more important to be prepared if you or a family member has a disability or special needs. Without preparation, you may not have everything you need to stay healthy. While the number of natural disasters has generally remained stable, the number of climate-related disasters has increased. As more people live and work in high-risk areas, such as floodplains and earthquake-prone areas, the risk of becoming a disaster victim increases. On top of that, natural disasters can happen to you. 9 in 10 Americans say they have either experienced or been affected by a disaster. How to prepare for natural disasters. Natural disasters. A guide to emergency preparedness. Knowledge is your first line of defense when preparing for an emergency. You need to know the types of natural disasters that can occur in your area and the best way to deal with each one. Knowing the specific risks can help you be better prepared and improve your chances of surviving an emergency with low risk. That's it. To prepare for a disaster, be prepared to be self-sufficient for at least 3 days. This means you will be able to provide you and your family with the following: shelter, eat, water, health, first aid. To meet that need, you can create an emergency supply kit that has almost everything you need in one easy-to-access place. A list of emergency kits for a natural disaster. When building an emergency supply kit, start with the right container. Choose something that is waterproof and easy to carry, like a plastic tote bag or waterproof gym bag. You may need multiple containers for your home kit. Here are the basics of what you need to survive 3 days. Water. Have at least 1 liter of water available per person per day. That is, if your family consists of 5 people, you will need 15 liters of water. If you have more in stock, do so. Rescue workers said a liter a day is difficult to stretch when it comes to drinking water, cleaning yourself and the area around you, and cooking, especially when treatment is needed. Make sure the water you use for drinking, washing or preparing meals, washing dishes, brushing your teeth or making ice is not contaminated. Anything that has an unpleasant smell or taste should be avoided, as it can cause diseases such as dysentery, cholera, typhoid or hepatitis. Food supply. Non-perishable foods like canned vegetables, soups, and powdered milk provide nutrition for your family when ability to cook or prepare meals is minimal. Aim for about 2,000 calories per person per day with some leeway. Maintaining a variety of foods, including vegetables, fruits, grains, dairy, and meat, ensures a balanced diet and keeps everyone healthy and well-nourished. First aid items. If you're in an emergency, you probably need to give first aid to someone. It can be as simple as putting a bandage on your child's knee, but it can also be as tiring as stitching a wound on the child's own head. Your emergency kit contains more than bandages and creams. Have syringes, splints, and a sewing kit ready to be sure you're prepared. You never know when you may need to provide first aid not only to your family but also to your friends, neighbors, and even strangers who stumble upon your rescue center in the event of a disaster. Include the weekly value of all medications prescribed for you and other family members, as well as things like ibuprofen, antihistamines, and antibacterial creams. If you have infants, young children, elderly parents, or family members with disabilities, consider their needs as you pack and prepare your emergency supplies. Things like diapers, formula, insulin, and a walker can mean the difference between rest and control, or swimming in absolute chaos. Corridor. If you have food and water but no can opener or pot to heat, you will be in trouble. That's why it's important to include cooking utensils in your emergency kit. Everything you need to prepare and consume your meals, just log in. Better to be over-prepared than under-prepared. Security items. Safety measures are almost as important as first aid. Includes rescue blankets, fire-starting tools, flashlights, multi-tool, knife and whistle. NOAA weather radio keeps you updated on weather alerts and helps you stay prepared. Deeds. Keep copies of all important documents in your emergency kit. This includes insurance cards, health, home, auto, and life insurance, birth certificates, passports, social security cards, marriage certificates, ID cards or driver's licenses, and an emergency plan that includes the contact details of all your family members, as well as out-of-state families, area emergency services, and anything else you might need. Keep them in the waterproof case of your emergency kit. Other objects. The list does not end here. Here are some other items to have in your kit to ensure you survive an emergency or disaster. Personal care items such as toothpaste and shampoo. Battery or hand crank radio. Extra batteries of all sizes. Small amount of money, preferably small. Emergency credit card. Map of the area. An extra set of car and house keys. Checklist of things to do before departure and how to do it. Emergency contact list with names, phone numbers and addresses.